Good evening, everyone, and welcome to all of you tonight, joining from all over the place. And tonight's going to be awesome night. You're not going to believe what we have tonight, folks. Well, you will. We're going to get caught up on all the propaganda tonight. But before we do that, I've got the man in the house tonight. We just finished up. I'll let him tell you about it. But I want to just give this comment to start right here tonight. Don Gentilini says, someone asked, how can Russians believe the propaganda about the war? It's a great question. You sit here in the United States or other countries watching tonight and you go, how can they believe this stuff? And folks, you need to buckle your seatbelt because at the end of the program tonight, I'm going to catch you up completely. They only have propaganda, he says, no opposing views, which is correct. But check this out. How can Americans, and I will insert into that statement, other nations believe propaganda when they have the freedom to find out what's true? My dear friends, that's some words of wisdom right there. Do your due diligence and no chasing conspiracies. So blessings to all of you. I've got Zhenya here. He's safe. All is well. And we're going to start right there. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. And the Lord's blessings upon you from wherever you're joining. I want to get right to it because it is a full hour. Ricochet, propaganda exists on both sides. You need to be able to find the truth. 100% agree. And that's what we're doing. We're exposing the truth each night. And we'll start with it right here, folks. Buckle your seatbelt. This is good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. I can see that you are back in Khmelnytsky.
Yes, praise God.
Okay, let's do this first, and then we'll talk about a couple of things. Today's
Okay.
a really big day. So the first thing is, glad you're home safe, but let's just take a look at this so people understand. Khmelnytsky right there. You left,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to Vinnytsia, and this is where we talked.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night. No,
Mhm.
Friday night. Your Saturday morning.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you and the guys went to
Got to Zaporizhia.
Zaporizhia,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there to Kramatorsk.
No, yes, we've been there, like
Yeah, you went to
the
Kramatorsk,
local place. Then
and
we
then
got
you
to
went
Kramatorsk,
back to
back to
Zaporozhye,
Zaporizhia, then Dnipro.
and then through Dnipro to Kharkiv.
Yes.
And then did you come back through Kiev
Uh,
or no?
no, the route was from. It was not Gulaypole, other place, but
Okay,
to get to Kramatorsk, we got back to Dnipro.
right. I've got
Then
it there.
from Dnipro, we got to other place, and then we got to Kramatorsk. Yes, and then got back to Dnipro, and then to Kharkiv. Then from
Right.
Kharkiv to Kiev. From
Okay,
Kharkiv to Kiev.
then to Kiev,
Yes.
and then of course.
Vinnytsia.
Oh, you went through
Yes,
Vinnytsia.
Zhytomyr.
Okay,
Zhytomyr,
Zhytomyr.
Vinnytsia.
Khmelnytsky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct.
How many kilometers? Do you even know?
I think 2,550. Maybe
20
2000. Yes.
We'll just call it that. 2550 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
1,530 miles.
Yes, but it's important to understand. In some places there's terrible roads,
Okay.
and during all of these ways, especially there, we have a lot of block posts.
Right.
You need to stop. You need to. They will check your documents. Sometimes checking the what you have in the car or in the trailer, and after the check, they letting you go.
So it was just last night we were talking from Kharkiv, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just right before the program when you were in Kramatorsk, and we made the video and were able to show it. And then you were live with us last night from Kharkiv for a little while, early in the morning for you
Mm-hmm.
there. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think you rested a little bit because I messaged you and you were off, I think. But it wasn't too long after you left Kramatorsk that Kramatorsk was struck with missiles. And
Yes, and the same
there's
with Kharkiv.
there's something but I want to talk about in this. Vladimir Putin came out and threatened the rest of the world today. And he said, I told you guys, do not ship Ukraine weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jania, you may not, you didn't see this last night, but I want to go back and review this for a second because you can speak about this.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, last night and this morning, early Ukraine time, Kyiv was bombarded. Kharkiv was bombarded. Kramatorsk
Mm-hmm.
was bombarded. Mykolaiv bombarded. But here's the big one, and I talked about this. Donetsk. And the reason Donetsk is a problem is because what Russia is going to do now is when they can start claiming this territory officially, all they're going to do is use it for propaganda to say that Ukraine is demolishing their own people. Wait, open your eyes.
No.
Of course not. I told everybody last night, I said, this is going to be the game.
Don't worry.
But
Yes.
after that game was over, and I don't mean it a game, people were killed, but this joke that Ukraine's just going to demolish its own cities and people is a lie. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
Russia is going to say. But now with the weapons coming, and especially it had been about 4 weeks where Kyiv had been pretty quiet, but it just
Yes,
started
correct.
raining and raining and raining and raining. We know where Donetsk was fired upon from. Russia fired upon their own city, and it's our city, but it's occupied.
People in Donetsk, they
Yes.
understand it.
Okay,
They
give us
consume it.
insight.
People in Donetsk, they know it, and they discuss it in their,
Mhm.
like, let's say, separatist publics. But
Yes,
they discussing and they confirming that it was artillery shelling, and it's, they know that it's their guys destroying their houses,
The-
and
I mean, it was
and blaming Ukrainian right there with no delay.
Of course not. In fact, tonight, we're not going to keep you long. I know you're exhausted. You've had an incredible 48 hours, but this is the program tonight. I've got quite a bit of the propaganda that I just want to get everybody updated on because it does not stop. And actually, last night, if you can go back and watch it, I showed a video from 1988 when President Reagan went and met Gorbachev in Moscow. Remember the big summit? You would have been
Yes.
a teenager. But I played about a 4 or 5 minute clip. Zolik translated it. We got all the English in. And there was a different atmosphere then. And I said, yeah, I know there's KGB and there's chaos and there's all that kind of mess going on. But there was an opportunity there that was lost. And now any gentleness in the media at all in Russia is non-existent. Non-existent. Now it's just pure evil. So tonight on this Sunday night, day 102, that is the title of the program, catching up everybody with the lies of the propaganda. And people say, why do you keep showing that? The reason I keep showing it is because you need to hear what is actually happening out there. And, I was talking with a guy at church today, law enforcement, and we talked about some of the shootings that have happened in America. And then we talked about the war in Ukraine and how much the power of media, whether it's the shootings in America or the war in Ukraine, is creating the narrative and the agenda. And this is a younger dude, but if we're not careful, we're going to get to the point of no return. We're learning, we've known it for 102 days, but Macron, no help. He just doesn't want to humiliate Putin. Germany, we've talked about all this. We're not going to beat a dead horse, but the problem is this keeps going further and further, and now we've got Putin saying he's just going to start raining on these weapons.
Yes.
It's sad.
It's terrible. And as you did mention before, yesterday when we left Kramatorsk, there were like cruise missiles hit.
Yes.
It seems to me. And today there were the same, the hit all in Kiev, few places, and some, and a lot of different kind of weapons to Kharkiv. And it's kind of, yesterday when we left, and probably 2 hours later or something, maybe a little bit later, we realized, hey, it's there, they're in trouble. And we were talking about that oh, that's good, we're safe. And now same with Kiev, with Kharkiv.
Yes.
We just left, and some hours later, like a big problem. And Sasha said, "Hey, if we would stop, probably knowing the places where it's coming to, the places of the city, we would have a problem, really big problems, staying there." So,
Zhenya, I come back. We keep telling the truth, but I'm absolutely convinced right here that this is getting ready to intensify, of course, but Kharkiv, I've been saying it, of course, the restriking on Kyiv, because they've been talking about coming back into the north. We know that there are 25,000 soldiers in this corner right there above Volyn. We know the Transnistria. It's my opinion, my theory, but we know Russia wants it all the way to the Transnistria. And if you take Kharkiv and you cut straight across, I think this is the bare minimum of what they want. To completely cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea, to destroy these cities. And we're talking about, this would be Kharkiv, of course, Donetsk, Lugansk, Dnipro, Zaporozhye, Mykolaiv, Kherson, Kryvyi Rog, Odessa. To me, and then connect to this Transnistria. In fact, the president of Moldova yesterday came out and said to the international community, there are what she thought 1,500 Russian soldiers in the Transnistria mobilized. And
I understand.
Yeah, and she said to the international community, these soldiers need to leave. They need to leave the territory and go back to Russia. So we can see kind of the handwriting on the wall. Let me ask you this question, and we won't keep you, but that route you took, and then, being just in front of the missile strikes, give you a different viewpoint? different understanding to what these people live under.
Yeah.
Even talking to those ladies there in Kramatorsk, you left, missiles fell, they're still there, and I still have to go take them to dinner.
Yes, for you would understand. Yesterday, right before leaving them, one of that ladies, she asked me to give her my phone number. I said, okay, no problem. I did give. So, and today, after the missiles hit of Kramatorsk, after it, she sent a message. It was long, a big one message with the thanks and the pictures of other people they were sharing food with, and the long, let's say, message with the thanks, different ways, and the pictures of new destroyed places in Kramatorsk. This is, it's a picture of how people live there. They being inside, in the middle of that war. New myself, heat's coming. New, more people being injured, and people are still thankful. People still finding the time to send the pictures and thank you message and with the wishes, great wishes, and desire to see us again as a team. So, and in the middle of it, she sent us about 6 or 8 pictures of Kramatorsk from the past. Interesting facts about Kramatorsk, and I was thinking, hey, how it's possible? They live there. They hearing all of this, explosions, and they see it, and now she's interested to represent Kramatorsk, remembering how nice it was, and and statements that this is their city, they are part of that city, and then they are still welcoming us back, calling us back, please come back, and we hope to. She said like this: when you come next time, we will try to do something for our street. People who lives on that street will come together and cook you something. And after your promise last night and this morning message, I said, okay, now it's like a principle. I want to get there as well.
Oh, listen.
I mean,
well, I've got news for you. If I'm going to Kramatorsk to take the grannies to dinner, you're driving me. And so that's not an option. I've been there quite a few times, and I love that city. Been there many times with Oleg Olenek, and the people are kind in that city. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like Khmelnytsky. Khmelnytsky's a kind city where you live. Kramatorsk,
it was good.
It's just it's just a kind city, and it's not. It doesn't have all of the best things. Everything is not so pretty, although it's beautiful in certain areas. It was a city that was very important during the time of the Soviet Union, and of course now for Ukraine, it's very historical. It's very strategic, but there's wonderful people there. We asked that granny last night and said, if it gets worse, you're going to leave. And she said, if I was going to leave, or we were going to leave, we would have left before. We're not leaving. This is our home. After that, I try to show about one English report from UATV each night so people can hear some English and see some stuff. But UATV did yesterday a similar view to Slavyansk, which is now being hit hard as well and has already been smashed, but it's a target and it's a city that Russia wants to occupy. But there was young people there. This girl, maybe 30, and she said, I'm not leaving. This is my home. This is all I know.
Yes.
I was born here. And I know that for us in our thinking, probably less for you, but with American mindsets or Western mindsets or even European mindsets that have never lived through war, it's very difficult for us to understand. But I try to help people
Yes.
think. I can tell you right now, if my city was being attacked, I probably wouldn't leave either, to be honest with you. I would load my arsenal and get on my roof and start slinging lead
Mm-hmm.
because it's my town, it's my country, it's my friends here. I'm really high up here in the Palatial Studios. I'm towering 13 feet above South Mercer Street. And when I get on the roof, I'm over 20. I'm slinging lead, baby. You know what that means, slinging lead?
I understand. I think
Okay.
I understand.
When we
You
finish
see?
this little clip, wait, I will show you my weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that
So I
I
understand them is
decided to
what I'm
smile.
saying. It's hard, but I
Yes.
understand them.
You see the situation. We in Ukraine and Russia and some other places countries. We still have that kind of inheritage from Soviet Union.
Sure.
They they made a law for people would not have real armored home. For people would not have possibility to fight for their piece of land or their house or
Hmm.
their apartment or their family. If our people would have this, probably much more people would start, defending their places
You know what's
because
interesting?
having.
And this is another conversation, and I do not talk up. We're focused on the war in Ukraine, but
Mhm.
every once in a while, we've got to hit another little topic. It's interesting, right now with all the shootings that are happening in America, there's so much raging about taking guns away from people, or, it's not like a
Mhm.
gun walks into a building and shoots somebody. There's a person pulling the trigger. But in
Mhm.
America, they're screaming about taking weapons away. While in Ukraine,
Mhm.
a nation that's in war, Kyiv is talking about we need to get our citizens armed. We need to find ways to
Yeah.
legally get guns into the homes, good guns.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need to
Because
learn. We need to learn.
it's other side. Let's say we can talk about one side and possible problems it brings, but if in that moment we will start to, to forget of what the past of this, let's say some stories. Okay, yes, when there is some tanks outside on the streets, uh, it's understandable, but still, if Russian would have information that this village, they are not preparing the flowers for Russian soldiers,
And these
they
people have
preparing
guns.
their guns.
Yeah,
But this option isn't. Was not included.
correct.
So this is why the best thing people, the man could help. It's to try to evacuate people.
Correct.
The
I mean,
That's
listen,
it. And then
strategic
they
plan.
being, yes. And this is, yes. And when you cannot fight for your family, having the neighbor like this,
Correct.
you did ask, and yes, about this perspective. How do I feel and think and look at the situation right now? When we've been in Kharkiv this morning, and now now we hear like in the news that there were, I mean, destroyed a lot of places, and there were a lot of attacks there. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, it just, you know, it. I feel the war. I'm in Khmelnytsky, but I still feel. I think about that we need to start preparation even from tomorrow of the other trip,
Mm-hmm.
and starting of which group of people needs more help and what kind of help. But you see, and the other side as well, it's coming back to our previous conversations, that it's craziness how it looks like. So Russia destroying our houses, buildings, cities every day.
Our beautiful
And
churches.
now
Mm-hmm.
churches, hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
and now they say like this: okay, guys, and the Western partners of Ukraine, if you will continue support Ukraine, then we would we will start attack and Ukraine the new way, new ways, new places we didn't attack before.
But not only that,
Or
they
if
also
Ukraine will
go.
if Ukraine will attack any of our military base where we killing their people from, then we will get serious. Then we will have a problem. Then we will call this a war. So it looks like the society, the countries, they have to admit it that yes, when Russia are sending the missiles and killing people, oh, we are not happy with that. It's too serious. But with that saying of Putin or his slaves, uh,
And we're going to watch his
his
slaves after this.
and
Mm-hmm.
they said, "Oh, be careful, President Mr. Zelensky. Give us a promise that you will not attack Russia. Give us a promise, otherwise it will not be possible. It will be a big question helping you. How it's possible? We have terrorists, strong terrorists, killing much smaller country, and yes, we fight, and we happy, and we're proud of Ukrainian army, but
Yes.
still,
Let's be honest.
other
Every
countries saying, hey, make sure, give us promise. We want to help you, but give us promise that you will not attack them. But they forgetting to add the same way he is attacking you already for 100 days.
102.
Yes, he killing your kids, but hey, make sure you don't do it to him. Otherwise, we will stop
Listen,
helping
you're
you.
hitting the nail on the head, even in your exhausted state. The attacks just hours ago on Kharkiv and Kiev and Kramatorsk, Donetsk,
Nikolaev, the last attack of Nikolaev,
Mykolaiv.
he
Yep.
was attacked on a, let's say it not the bread factory, it was the storages.
Yes.
Why? It's a terrorism.
Correct.
How and who can find any reason
The
to add this? Please don't send back your missiles. Don't answer Russia, because Russia is killing you. Yes, it's bad, but not possible, unacceptable if Ukraine will do the same to them.
correct. It's
We will not.
ridiculous. And listen, we're here. We've been here. We're going to continue to be here. And we've been telling everybody they do not. And when I say they, this is people of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They think they understand Russia. They do not understand Russia. And when I'm speaking about Russia, I'm talking about Putin and this terroristic regime. You do not understand. That attack last night on Kyiv, you have to hear what Putin said. They struck a factory in Kyiv and then stated that it was a target of Western weapons, but it wasn't. It was a food factory. They hit 6 sites in Kyiv, but it was a food factory, but that was where Western weapons were. And we told you not to put them there. And we just wanted to show you that we can hit it. And even a lot of the nut jobs, I call them the nut jobs in Moscow. That's how we talk about the propagandists. The nut jobs in Moscow. They are saying the same thing that you're trying to communicate right now, and that is this. Don't strike us. We can do whatever we want to you, but don't strike us, because if you do, you haven't seen any of our weapons yet. We've just showed you a little bit. That's their story. And then, unfortunately, these Western leaders, Macron, Schultz, and I'm sorry, Mr. Biden, even though we've given lots of money and we have given weapons. So I'm thankful for that. But when it's time to get really serious, if we don't win this war, kiss Europe goodbye. Kiss Europe goodbye. Because these guys are spineless. Spineless, spineless, spineless. I hope somebody shares this to those guys. Just stand up and stop being afraid.
Yes, and 2 things. One thing is, okay, and there is Russians. I want to point it. There is Russians, and there is some outside Russia, and there is some, let's say, fans of Russians.
Sure there is.
And they say, hey, not all, you cannot say bad thing about Russia because you don't know what's going on in Russia. You don't know how many people are against of, I would say, okay, we see situation in Belarus, that, you know, firefighters, fire workers,
Firemen
being trained to use guns now, and they got the rights to act the same as police, but maybe it's for as a military, it's not a surprise for you, for people outside, but they making people who usually normally fights with Russia, with the fire, they making them preparing to fight with the weapons and shooting people in case of people will start their riots.
Correct.
Being public disagreements. Okay, coming back to Russia and the people who said, I would say it's still not 100% of Russian prisons are full of people who hates the war.
You're telling the truth.
So until that, and there is no concentration camps in Russia for Russians who are against of war. And yes, it is obvious we wait if person telling that he supports the peace in Ukraine and he's not agree and he's not sitting in the prison, that somehow he does the same thing as Scholz and other people who telling like this, we need to be more careful with picking up the words when we talk about Russia.
Zhenya.
We need to...
Macron, and I talked about it last night, told the world, do not humiliate Mr. Putin.
Yes, I just wanted to say it. They so care
Hmm.
about the image of that terrorist. Why you being disturbed of supporting? I mean, oh, we cannot change the image. We cannot we cannot allow people to call terrorist as a terrorist. No, 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 no. Let's call terrorist. No, let's call this is the man who's a leader of Russia. He's a
Yes.
president, and please do it with the favor, with the respect. But he is a terrorist. He's they're stealing our bread. They stealing food and they demanding, hey, okay, yes, your ships are blocked. Yes, and in a lot of countries and the poor people will not get enough food. So it will be your fault because you're not agree, and it goes not just to Ukraine, it goes to other countries because you are not ready.
Look at
You're not
this.
ready to
Hmm.
sacrifice 50% maybe of territory of Ukraine and 100% of Ukrainian history and
Hmm.
Ukrainian language and
Hmm.
Ukrainian nation. Probably you mean people to the some countries in Africa, or I mean some poor countries, and you like, why you so mean? Why
Listen,
people are
it's the
sorry
power of propaganda. It's turning the narrative against Ukraine. It's
call
your fault.
terrorist as a terrorist,
That's correct. Look at here.
call
This
thief as a
this is the
thief?
reason. This is the reason. How many times I got to draw that?
A lot of.
Okay.
That's enough.
You said a lot. I mean, I'll just keep. That's the
It's,
problem right there.
yeah,
And people can say whatever they want to say, but we know the truth. And this is why we cannot stop, man, because listen, they do
how
not
it's
just want your
possible?
culture gone.
Okay,
They want Ukraine gone.
yes, yes. How it's possible to call? I'm trying to, to use proper words, but sometimes even to call it's human, it's a criminal to call a person who is killing people, who is stealing with people, who is threatening the world, all the countries, that hey, it's okay for us to attack and kill people in Ukraine, but make sure all the countries that you will not allow them to answer. How you can call him president?
Hmm.
How you can call him? No, I mean, Mister blah blah blah. I don't know. It's a criminal. It,
Correct.
and that's it. Call him criminal. Call him thief. Call him terrorist, or say no, it's not a terrorism, it's not a
Jeka,
killing.
you're making a phenomenal point. And here's the deal. Every day, and these are the two words that are used. Every day, he's either called this,
Yes,
okay, or
yes,
that's it. That's what
but
the
this
world's
is
calling him. That has to stop. That's the problem.
yes.
They're telling you,
Why we should showing and emphasizing respect
okay,
on international level the person who is a killer? Okay,
correct,
why?
because it's Russia.
Okay, I would say I would add one more. Sorry, Greg, I'm finishing. Sorry, you made me awake. Okay, why why when you call that person, you you express at least some respect.
Hmm.
It means for me as Ukrainian, 100 disrespect for mothers, kids, doctors, teenagers killed by that murderer. Anyone who is trying to emphasize and show the respect to killer, he disrespect 100%.
And
all people died in Ukraine.
To tag onto that, everybody on that level that has the ability to call, whether it's President Zelensky or it's Putler, okay? They call Putler first. Always. We call him first. And then the next day, we'll call Mr. Zelensky. We're going to be fair. And here's the other thing, Jania. I don't know if you saw this, but this was in American media and European media. So everything always, as we wrote, was Mr. Putin or President Putin. Never terrorist, never murderer. Do you know what? And this was meant to be kind, okay? But this tells you where the media is. I'm going to write this one because people won't believe it. This was the headline floating around for the last week. So it's always Mr. Putin, President Putin, never about the reality. Okay. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Do you know what the headlines floating around the world were last week in trying to be polite to Mr. Zelensky, President Zelensky? They called him That's what was written internationally about Mr. Zelensky, the clown that became president. Now, they meant it in a way that was like, okay, this dude's doing a really good job. He was an actor and a clown. But that's what's being written. And these words paint pictures in people's minds. And that's the problem. It's not about him being an actor or a clown. The man's doing a phenomenal job. Why don't we just say the president of Ukraine doing a phenomenal job, leading the free world? That's the problem. But we interject, Western media interjects words that'll get people to read, get people to click, whatever. It's a joke.
So we have it. I think you have it, and all the countries have the same situation. For example, if the man was a policeman and then society found out that he was corrupted, he was killing people, he was torturing people, how you call him after that? Still continue. Oh, here policeman comes.
No, criminal comes.
At least he maybe he was a policeman, but it was in the past.
Listen, you give up the right of that title when you change to become who you were. Okay?
Yes.
That's the deal.
Yes.
That's why I say Mr. Zelensky is not a clown. He's a great world leader. And Putler is not a president. He's a dictator, terrorist, murderer. And if you think for one second, that he is not the one saying, wipe them out, then you're crazy, because he is.
Okay, so like coming to conclusion, because for me, yes, sure, I have big limits in English, but I hope you will understand the things I was trying to express and explain. So
very clearly,
I think we need to say stop as much people as possible to stop even adding this comment, like one of the Christian leaders in Russia used. I will not
You don't have
do
to,
mistake again.
because
Yes,
Rostik and
I want to quote
do
with
it.
no family, no names.
Hmm.
But I want to quote
Please
when
do.
he was asked your attitude to the war. He said, "You understand, it is not as simple. It is not like a black and white. I invite all such missionaries to go with me to serve these people, to pray with me. God, help us to survive and bring your love to these people. Go there and ministry with us. Then, if it be not a black and white, then what
Then what is
our
it?
killed kids, is it not a black and white, killed or not killed, live or dead? Is it
Zhenya.
not black and white? And how it's possible to add this kind of comment to situation in Ukraine? We in Ukraine, on Ukrainian territory, trying to survive, to defend against of Russian occupation. They invading, they're attacking us from all the sides of the world possible for them, from using all possible weapons, missiles, cruise missiles, bombs, artillery, anything. And is it not black and white? Or if it's yes, for you it's not, it's just a gray, different shades, then somehow for you have to say, and you will find it in your mind, then you are okay with wiping one of the nation in the world out, and that you are really close to approve it.
Zhenya.
You are really close to
Correct.
say, why not, let's minus one nation,
Delete them.
delete them.
But Jacob, you come back and you validate what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the hour tonight. These people are so under, it's almost like a magical a magical spell of this propaganda.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to brave people who calling black as black and white as white. These people are, I believe we read the same Bible with them.
There it is. No heart, no sleep. All right. Check on you tomorrow. There you have it, folks. You can see the passion. You can feel the passion. It's been a very, very ugly day. I've been reading some stuff right now. Missiles are flying. I think we could potentially be entering into a new phase of this war this week. We shall see. But to set the stage for that in the last few minutes that we have together, I want to ask you now, give me about 5 more minutes, because this is going to just blow you away. And I need to bring you to this place before we get into day 103. Thank you guys for all of your conversations, all of your chats back and forth. We try to put them up on the social at the bottoms and keep a running statement going there. I did really appreciate JDO's comment here. Going biblical. Who was no longer apostle after the payment? He was no longer called by the same title. Yep. I think his name was Judas. So the lies never stop, folks. Buckle your seatbelts, because you're going to be caught up completely with everything that's happening. We've already looked at the maps. We know what's happening militarily. But folks, what we've been talking about tonight, here's my little list, and I want you to see it. The first thing I want to show you, nut job out of Moscow. And I'm going to go through these because this is going to educate you. Here we go. Nut job in Mariupol. Yes, he took a road trip reporting live from Mariupol.
Сегодня, когда вот в эту школу, я побеседовал, кстати говоря, с директором школы, она, ей очень тяжело, она сложно эмоционально даже выражать все то, что она видела и пережила. Вот эта школа, номер 22 Центрального района. Мы никогда ничего не размещали, никаких военных структур в школах и вообще в социальных учреждениях. Это очевидно, и надо заметить, что они дураки, что ли, они не понимали, куда они стреляют. Они хорошо знали. Благо, не было детей, но все равно 2 учительницы погибло. Вот там буквально 100 метров даже от этого взрыва женщина стояла на переходе, и ее убило тоже. Вот, знаете, когда это видишь своими глазами, у тебя мир, меняется.
When you see this with your own eyes, it changes your world. We have never struck a school. We have never struck an institution. Number one. Number two, the thieves tell it openly. Here's a news report just sharing with the world. We're stealing the aluminum, we're stealing the metal, we're stealing the grain, and we're taking it to Rostov-Don.
Первое судно за несколько месяцев. В Мариуполе начал работу порт, освобожденный от украинских националистов. К загрузке на борт готовят тонны металла, который предназначен предприятиям Ростова-на-Дону.
Новая транспортная артерия откроет новые возможности для увеличения товарооборота. Сухогруз РМ-3 заберет из порта 3000 тонн металлопродукции. В планах восстановление терминала по погрузке зерна. Его еще называют хлебным. Работы должны завершиться в июле, когда на полях созреет урожай пшеницы.
We are proud that we've liberated Mariupol and the nationalists are gone. It's our port, our grain, our metals. We're just going to tell the world that we're thieves. Now, I try to continually remind everyone that even though these people are nut jobs, they are the mouthpiece. Sorry, they are the mouthpiece. And they're not, okay. They're evil. What they say is ludicrous, stupid, whatever other terms you would want to use. But these are not dumb people. They know what's going on in the world. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there. They know the current events, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. Here is Liz Truss, the defense minister out of Great Britain, being called out.
Понимаете, мы вас пока окончательно не решим, нацизма не должно быть. Вы нацисты.
Слушайте, вы уже Северодонецк завтра, послезавтра заберете. ЛНР уже будет ваша полностью.
Киев,
ДНР
мать
уже.
городов русских.
Уже на этом остановитесь?
Нет, Киев,
не
Львов.
А где остановитесь?
Смотря как то вести будет.
Может когда остановитесь?
Когда надо, тогда остановимся. А где остановимся? Я вот сегодня говорил, может быть, Стоунхендж. Листрат же говорит то, что это она воюет.
Liz Truss is the one fighting the war. It's ours, Kyiv, Lviv. Where will we stop? Maybe Stonehenge? Okay, now, I'm going to take it to the next level for you guys. Let's go to the current event happening in the United States right now. What is it? The baby formula? The baby formula shortage? I don't know. I'm out of babies. But yeah, we have no baby formula. Who's paying attention in the middle of a war zone to our supply chain issues in America? How about President Lukashenko, Belarus? Grandpa.
Поддерживаю твое предложение, оно от народа. Мы готовы американцам помочь в поставках детского питания. Точка. Можете довести это через средства массовой информации до каждого американца. У нас хорошее молоко, у нас хорошие мясные продукты для детишек, и консервы, и молочные смеси и прочее. Мы им можем поставить и помочь. Если они хотят, хоть завтра начнем поставки.
Это в качестве гуманитарной помощи.
И гуманитарные, но я думаю, они не бедные, купить смогут.
So, coming to a Walmart near you for the food shortage or the baby formula, Lukashenko and Belarus is going to give us humanitarian aid. Now, two last ones to show you, and we'll get out of here tonight. I know I don't, you know, the lady that's so evil. I'm going to give you a revelation tonight that's going to blow you away. All you hear is the Russian, right? I've told you guys that Putin speaks perfect English. He does. He also speaks perfect German. He does. And of course, perfect Russian. Well, the lady, the queen of the nuts, folks, I hope you've taken your blood pressure medicine, or you're holding on to the wall, sitting down. The queen of the nuts, guess where she was educated? Moscow State University? No. Oxford? No. How about the United States?
Они, как маленькие дети, не верят в то, во что не хотят верить. Они вот как маленькие дети в плену своих фантазий живут. Я недавно перечитывала свои старые письма, которые я писала, когда в Америке училась, домой. И пишу я родителям, что у меня такое ощущение, что это не страна, а детский сад для отстающих в умственном развитии детей. Это в 15 лет уже было понятно.
Educated in the United States, now spewing the venom for this war. And the last one I want to give you, this was just on tonight. The program that these guys, they have programs that run all day long, but the evening program that Solovyov does is called Вечер, which means evening. It's like evening report. It would be the nightly news update. And this one was just tonight. And folks, this is right on time with what Zhenya and I were just discussing. It's right on time with Putin coming out today and saying, West, I told you to stop shipping weapons. We will increase our attacks. We have plenty of weapons. That's directly from Putin today. And Ukraine was struck throughout Ukraine. We've already listed the cities for you in pretty intense day, folks. So tonight, to cap it off, here's Solovyov talking. And it's unbelievable.
Вообще, конечно, если на самом деле не гибли люди, то такой комедии масок не было, по-моему, давно. Но вот это все бы ничего, кроме того, что на самом деле мы катимся к такому ужесточению, мы катимся к таким реально кровавым страницам мировой истории, что все те, которые говорят через голову, мы считаем для себя, теперь нет никакого ограничительного, которое было в договоренности между, там, в пакте России и НАТО, мы сейчас поставим, что хотим, куда хотим. Ну, попробуйте. Попробуйте. Нам бы вот этот пережить. Если все будет развиваться так, как развивается, то где-нибудь на Байкале останется пара мутантов и все. Все остальное будет уничтожено в мощном ядерном ударе. А к этому все идет. Притом уже не в зависимости от желаний какой-то из сторон. Потому что если сейчас НАТО решит, что она может размещать на наших границах все, что угодно, Они сейчас будут все больше и больше навязывать американского оружия Украине. Украина сейчас возьмет, бабахнет, попадет по одной из наших ядерных станций. И понеслась. И процесс будет с такой скоростью неуправляемым, что мало никому не покажется. Жахнем, и ничего не будет.
Я сейчас к жахнем вернусь. Да, мы должны быть счастливы. Правда, у молодежи к этому отношению счастье несколько иное. Мы дождались. Это и есть наш последний и решающий бой.
Я не вижу здесь никаких поводов для радости, но я не вижу никакого другого выхода. Если будет поставки таких вооружений, которые достают до нашей территории, теперь они говорят, ну они не будут, мы им поставим, но они не будут. Да, они не будут. Ну не смешите меня. Ну, послушайте,
они уже?
Это мы с ними живем много лет, да, а не вы. Нам виднее, чего там будет. Но мы будем вынуждены ответить, потому что и наш народ не поймет, да, и руководитель наш, начальник, да, Путин Владимир Владимирович, не такой человек, который просто все это стерпит. Эскалация нам предстоит страшная. Они нас дразнят, в очередной раз забывая уроки истории, и забывая, что нас дразнить нельзя, что вот ты медведя можешь там, пока он это не замечает, да, потому что он спит в своей берлоге, и ты тычешь веткой, тычешь, а потом он проснулся и шарах вот так вот.
Дискуссия о будущем хороша тогда, когда ты можешь с большой уверенностью утверждать, что будущее будет. А поскольку некоторые тут сомневаются в этом, то отложим до следующей передачи хотя бы.
That, my friends, just a few hours ago on the evening report in Moscow, in every home in Russia, and in your home just a few hours later in English. Poking the bear, escalation, hitting nuclear plants, America's sending weapons, don't provoke us. I'm not giving you fear. I'm giving you reality. And if you don't think, I've got all this documented. Think again. Who would have thought on February the 23rd that Russia would have invaded Ukraine? Who would have thought on June the 5th that billions of dollars have been pumped into Ukraine to defend that land? Weapons have been sent from the United States. I don't care at what level right now. Weapons have been sent to from the United States to Ukraine to help them defend their territory. Who would have thought that hundreds and hundreds of companies would have left Russia? Who would have thought that we would have seen cities leveled to the ground? Who would have thought that we would watch the genocide that is taking place? And people want to say right now, don't listen to these nut jobs. They don't know what they're talking about. They've been talking for years that Russia would invade. And voila, here we are. So when you see them talking about things that you would say, that's not possible. No way. They'll strike. Ukraine won't hit their nuclear plant. Of course they won't. They'll hit their own. And then they'll go nutso to the next level. I'm telling you guys the truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. You are completely caught up. Tomorrow, day 103. We'll see what unfolds. The Lord bless you. And yeah, it's a little late for Don't Provoke Us. Going to be interesting, but we'll be here together. Thank you as always for your support. Zhenia's getting some sleep now, and we'll be back in 23 hours. You guys have a good night. See you tomorrow.